afternoon to everyone. So it is both an honor and a privilege to welcome you all to this vital conversation on faculty recruitment, professional advancement and retention, challenges and best practices as part of CIPU's online webinar series. So faculty are the heart of any academic institutions. The expertise, their passion and dedication shape the learning journeys of our students and define the future of our society. Yet as we navigate an era of rapid change in higher education, finding, nurturing, and retaining exceptional talent has never been more challenging or more crucial. So today's webinar brings together some of the finest minds to explore innovative strategies and actionable insights that can help us rise to these challenges. And together, we will delve into how institutions can attract talent, foster an environment of professional growth, and ensure faculty feel valued and inspired to stay. So I encourage everyone to engage actively and take away ideas that can transform our institutions. So with that, let me introduce our esteemed moderator, Professor Dr. Deepak Kumar Behera, who will guide this critical dialogue with expertise and vision. Dr. Deepak Kumar Behera is currently the Vice Chancellor of Kalinga Institute of Social Sciences, Bhubaneswar. A distinguished academician and anthropologist, Professor Behera has previously served as Vice Chancellor at Sambalpur University, Rajendra University, and Berhampur University, making him the only anthropologist in India who have led 4 different universities. He has significantly contributed to the academic growth of these institutions, securing NAAC A grades for Kalinga, Berhampur, and Sambalpur. And Professor Behera served as a Fulbright visiting scholar at California State University at Long Beach. He also served as a guest visiting professor at Karl Ebrard University of Tübingen in Germany. And he had served as visiting professor in 6 different universities across the globe. And he was the recipient of the Sarat Chandra Roy Memorial Gold Medal with the Asiatic Society, which is one of the oldest academic institutions in Asia, for his outstanding contributions to social anthropology in India. He is the recipient of numerous prestigious fellowships, including the Fulbright and DAAD fellowships. And Professor Behera has taught at several renowned universities worldwide. He has published over 120 research papers and authored 22 volumes on tribal studies, children and childhood, and his vast experience and dedication to research and education made him a leading figure in the academic community. And thank you so much, Dr. Behera, for joining us today and for accepting to moderate the session. Thank you. And going to the first panelist of the day, Professor Dr. Anil Kashyap is the President and Chancellor of NICMAR University, Pune. Professor Dr. Anil Kashyap is a distinguished academic leader, renowned scholar, and expert in built environment research. He serves as the first President and Chancellor of NICMAR University, overseeing its campuses in Pune and Hyderabad and Delhi, and with 28 years of experience across practice, academia, and research, both in India and abroad. Dr. Kashyap holds a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, distinction from NIT Kurukshetra, master's in urban planning from the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, and a PhD from the University of Ulster, UK. He is an alumnus of Harvard University, and is trained in higher education leadership and change management, and is a fellow of the Higher Education Academy, UK. Dr. Kashyap previously held leadership roles at prestigious institutions such as UWE Bristol and Coventry University and Ulster University. His vision for NICMAR University is to establish it as a nationally and internationally recognized institution, preparing industry-ready graduates through specialized education programs. Thank you so much, Dr. Kashyap, for joining us. Thank you. And so next panelist is Professor Dr. Sandhir Sharma. Dr. Sandhir Sharma is a distinguished academician and industry leader with a career spanning over 2 decades in both the telecom industry and higher education. Professor Sharma is an expert in various fields, including strategy formulation, entrepreneurship, health management, sustainability, food sciences and health, consumer behavior, and international management. Starting his academic career as a lecturer in 2000, Professor Sharma has risen through the ranks to become the Vice Chancellor of Chitkara University, Punjab. His exceptional leadership has earned him multiple accolades, including the Outstanding Business School Director Award and Shiksha Bharati Award, Best Researcher Award, and the AIMS International Honorary Fellow Award. Professor Sharma's prolific research has resulted in over 193 published articles in high-impact journals such as Scopus, Web of Science, and ABDC. His innovative contributions also include 27 patents in diverse fields like lifestyle, technology, farming, and healthcare. Additionally, he serves as a judge for the QS Reimagine Awards and is a prominent speaker at the World Marketing Summit, which is one of the largest global gatherings in marketing. Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma, for joining us today. Thank you. Finally, Professor Dr. G.K. Shirude is also our Honorary Vice President for CIPU, the Vice Chancellor of Sri Balaji University, Pune. With over 40 years of experience in academia, Professor Shirude has made significant contributions to the fields of economics and management, and he has published 52 research articles and authored 7 books on topics such as economics, macroeconomics, and managerial economics. He has guided numerous PhD and MPhil students and has been a member of the advisory boards of over 10 research journals. Professor Shirude has also participated in 81 international seminars and conferences and has been a resource person for programs in Dubai. He has held leadership roles in various prestigious institutions, including serving as the campus director at Sri Balaji University, Pune, and as a member of the executive board of Association of Indian Management Schools, and is recognized for his excellence. Professor Shirude has received multiple awards, including the Vidya Ratna Award and the Mother Teresa Excellence Award. His dedication to education and management has earned him a well-respected reputation in the academic community. So I welcome all the guests for the day and thank you for accepting our invitation. And for the next 1 hour, the participants will be listening to them. And after that, time permits, we can take up a few questions. And during that time, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your questions, or you can also post your questions in the chat box. Over to Dr. Behera. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karthik ji. Good afternoon, all the panelists and the participant of this webinar, titled Faculty Recruitment, Professional Advancement and Retention, Challenges and Best Practices. So it's my distinct honor and privilege to welcome you all to this insightful and timely webinar. And on behalf of CIPU, I consider myself part of the organizing committee. So on behalf of the organizing committee, I thank each one of you for joining us today as we delve into an issue that sits at the heart of institutional success in higher education. We all know that it's a very, very important topic. So if you look at in recent times, the dynamics of faculty management have grown more complex, and institutions of higher learning across the globe, they are facing immense challenges in identifying, attracting, and retaining exceptional faculty members. Moreover, ensuring professional growth and fostering an environment where faculty can thrive and has become critical as institutions aim to maintain academic excellence, addressing emerging trends and remain competitive for both at national and international fronts. As we more closely, as we look more closely at faculty recruitment, we realize more and more it is not merely about filling position. It's about finding individuals whose vision, expertise, and values align with the broader mission of an institution, whether it is my university, your university. So it should align with the broader mission of the institution. Today, recruitment demands strategy that are forward-thinking, inclusive, and responsive to the ever-changing demands of the academic landscape. In this webinar, we hope to address some of these critical challenges and offer best practices that institution can adopt to enhance their hiring processes. I'm not going details into because there is a time constraint. We have, framed some question, like 16 question covering 4 broad areas, and I request all the panelists to answer, give short answer, like 3 minutes, so that we cover all the questions, and then we have some time for discussion. Discussions are very important. So once again, I welcome our panelist, Professor Dr. Sandhir Sharma ji, Professor Dr. Anil Kashyap ji, Professor Dr. G.K. Shirude ji, So I welcome you all to this important webinar, and I also welcome our participant. I see now there are 71 participants. I welcome them all to this webinar, and thanks to Professor Karthik ji and the members of core members of CIPU for giving me this privilege to chair this session. And let me first ask to Professor Dr. Sandhir Sharma ji, what innovative strategy can private university adopt to attract talented scholar, particularly in emerging discipline? Over to you, Professor Dr. Sandhir Sharma ji.
Thank you very much, Deepak sir, and let me begin with by thanking Mr. Karthik also for setting the stage, and Dr. Deepak addressing the issue rightly. Mr. Karthik, while in the beginning he said that faculty is the important stakeholder in any university education system, which I think all my esteemed panelists will also agree, and all of them have a good and rich experience. So this is something which is a point which makes this discussion even more important for all of us. So, Mr. Karthik, you rightly said they are important stakeholders, and they are the one who are the driving force behind any higher education ecosystem. And Deepak sir just also mentioned that it's not about filling positions. So, Dr. Deepak also mentioned that it's a part of strategy. So, what I think. In a higher education system, especially in a private universities, what is more important is how do you how do you visualize the contribution as an institution to the entire education ecosystem, and how what I want to say that how do I define my role as an institution to a community, because the faculty is a part of community also, and our challenge is that we are not finding right kind of a faculty or a faculty which has alignment with the vision of the institution. So this is something which is very important. So we do take a lot of interviews day in day out. Three things emerge promptly in those interviews and in those searches with right kind of a faculty. One is the academic culture of the institution. That means when I say academic culture, it is how the courses are designed, what kind of academic freedom the faculty has. So when we ask a candidate that how do you get to know that there is a vacancy in our institution, and what inspired you to come to us for an interview and you want to be a part of a university, they generally refer to the one thing, which is academic culture. So as an institution, I think this is the one thing which every institution to build on, so that a talent gets attracted to the culture, the academic culture of an institution. Upfront, this is the one thing. That academic culture, establishing that academic culture has many components. That means a freedom of designing a curriculum, going to class and using different pedagogies to teach a student, mentoring a student, and be a part of student lifelong learning, that journey. Second thing I've noticed that research culture everybody talks about. So one is the academic culture, which is again required to be part of the strategy, the document of an institution. Second is the research culture. So I have come across many interviews where the faculty has said that, sir, we found that you are very strong in research. So when we talk to faculty further, that what kind of strength you have seen in an institution, they say that you give a lot of incentives, you have established labs and centers of excellence, and you recognize the quality publications, you facilitate the patent filing, you help us commercializing our patents. So that's a second important point which attracts the talent to a particular institution, that is the research culture. But again the second point will also come from a strategic plan of an institution, that if that intent is there to develop that academic culture and research culture in the ecosystem of an institution, then probably the talented people in and around, they want to be part of that particular institution. And the third thing is the community building. So sometimes we have seen the developments around. A researcher doesn't want to be a teacher, or a teacher doesn't want to do a lot of research. So we say that these two things go hand in hand, but these two things can't go solo. So a teacher has to be a researcher has to be a teacher, and together they both the minds have to work towards the betterment of a community, towards a society. So that's a community building. So if I teach students as a faculty, and my students are succeeding in their career, then it's a faculty which feels that they have contributed to the life. And that if that culture is existing in the institution and it's a part of the strategy of the institution, then the faculty feels that that's a right place where they should actually come in, and they should be a part of that organization. So for me, there are three important things which every institution should focus on building a lot. One is academic culture, second is a research culture, and third is a community building. So if we work in these three things, then we can actually attract the talent to our institutions, and they can be a part of the growth journey of any institution.
Thank you very much, Professor Sharma-ji. I think you've rightly pointed out three, important elements: academic culture, research culture, and community building. That is how we can create a very vibrant educational ecosystem in the university, and they are complementary and supplementary to each other. They are not like watertight compartments, rightly said by you. And thank you very much, Sharma-ji. Now I would like to ask a question to Anil ji, Professor Anil Kashyap ji. How important is the institution's branding? I repeat, institution branding in attracting high quality faculty. What steps should university take to improve their branding? Branding is very, very important. And may I request Anil Kashyap ji, Professor Anil Kashyap ji, to answer this question?
Sure. Thank you, sir, for this very interesting question, and thank you, Karthik and his team, for organizing this webinar. Very important topic of faculty recruitment, progression, and retention. As it has been already, context has been set about, and there is no doubt that quality faculty is the backbone of any successful institution. At the same time, the institution quality also impact on how we attract talent. And those both aspects go hand in hand. Role of branding institution is always very critical for everyone to aspire to be part of that community. Everybody would appreciate that teaching job or a role of a teacher is not just only a 9-to-5 job. It is more than that. It is to be part of a vibrant community. It is a satisfaction. It is something which we need to derive out of doing the work on the campus. It has got a lot of collaboration elements involved. It has got a lot of community building. It has got a lot of research collaboration. It has got teaching collaboration. So it is the job which involves more than one person in completing the task which has been assigned and which has been expected from the institution, from the teaching faculty. So this leads to an important aspect, that the culture itself within that need to be that strong with collaboration, that everybody likes to work with that culture, with that kind of collaboration. And that then further leads to the branding. Branding comes from the perception, and perception, who we make perception for. This is for our stakeholders like students, our community of researchers, people, or the peer group of other universities, also the industry, the employers, and where the output of the university goes. It is the community, it is the people, it is the society. So that is where the perception gets built. And when we add all that perception, it leads to branding. Why we brand certain product without naming names here as on this webinar, but certain institutions carry very high value, and everybody aspires, right from the students to the faculty to the parents. Everybody is aligned to their being associated with that, and there is a reason for that, and that is something which are those positive vibes. So branding is so important for to attract any good faculty. This is one question normally I ask when I sit into the panel, that why this particular institution where you have applied for. If somebody gives a right answer and has done some research, that this institution is known for this particular aspect, this institution is ranked in research quality at this level, this is ranked at in student satisfaction at that level. So if these right answers comes from the faculty who is attending that interview, appearing that in an interview, I take that as a good sign, because somebody has done some research and wants to get associated not with a job but an institution, with a brand. And if you don't,
thank you very much. Yeah.
And if you don't get that answer, then it means that that faculty is there for just only a 9-to-5 job, and that's not really what you are looking for. So that is my sort of take on this one, sir.
No, thank you very much, Kashyap ji. You have touched upon all the important points like collaboration, and especially collaboration with eminent university, both in India and abroad. Overseas collaboration gives you visibility, and you talk about also perception. Perception is very, very important, and perception can be changed through value addition. And you also talk about one word like perfection. Perfection is very important. Perfection from the student, from the researcher, from the faculty, from all stakeholders. And then automatically there will be branding, and because of the branding, you will be able to attract many meritorious candidates, scholar, and you can recruit them as your faculty. Thank you very much. We all acknowledge that there is a role of branding as far as recruitment and retention process is concerned. Now I would like to move on and request Professor G.K. Shirude ji to answer a very critical question relating to challenges and solution. So my question is very simple. What are the major challenges faced by Indian private university in faculty recruitment, and how can these be addressed effectively? Over to Shirude.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to have a dialogue with a very expertise and knowledgeable people like all of you sitting in front of me online. Well, see, this is the core of any educational institution. That is, whenever we talk about what are the challenges, faculty, particularly Indian private universities at the time of recruitment. Now, whenever we talk about the recruitment is a process. Earlier speakers, they have talked about the branding, the research about the university, whenever they apply. At the same time, the awareness among the faculty, those who are applied. See, the basic difficulties which we found, majority of the institutions, they are getting this particular problem. And this problem is related with that the people, they want to come in cities like Pune, Mumbai, Nagpur, Aurangabad, likewise in Maharashtra, or even maybe some other states where n number of institutions are there. And therefore, what they think that once we get some entrance, some entry in some of the university, we can find out the more opportunities. So more challenges to me means more opportunities are to the universities also to find out the best of the talent. See, basically, whenever we talk about the challenges faced by the private universities, that is related with your selection process. How you are transparent as far as your website is concerned. If everything is mentioned crystal clear, then certainly those who are applying, they will also come to know that what type of the university is. And the problem is related with talent. That is true. Faculties are having eligibility, they satisfy the eligibility, postgraduate, doctorate, some of the research papers published, may not be published, but they are inclined to enter into the industry. But whenever we talk about professional courses, then the finding out not only degrees, but knowledge along with skills with how they are going to deliver in the class and what technology they uses in the class. If we ask the questions related with this, and if we take the interviews, then you will find out the people are knowledgeable and eligible. But in respect of their performance, some issues are there. And therefore, recruitment is not that as simple as it seems on paper. Real testing comes once the faculty enters into the class. And if we are having a good intake means students, those who are really focused. I am talking about particularly PG programs. And then their performance is always compared with the other performance. So in time of the recruitment, the problem which we face is that on paper, they are eligible. Then many times what happens, they may not like, once we recruit, they may not like to listen others or to attend the faculties, those who are very senior most, coming from industries also, to attend their sessions. If we ask them, at least for a month, you can attend the different sessions, and so that you will understand how to deliver. Or what should be the pedagogy which you can establish. That mindset is required. And many times this mindset requires a little bit more maturity. That maturity we could not find out in many of the newcomers. And those who are having a middle experience, maybe 5-10 years of experience, or people coming from industries, they are also very much interested now because the industry schedule is very tight. And therefore, they feel themselves that coming in academics will be a little bit, relaxation will be there. It will not be that much occupied fully. But again here, as our one of the speakers said, that it is not only a 9 to 4, 9 to 5 job. That is, a teacher, he has to keep his mind always open. And therefore, he has to observe, he has to learn, he has to experience. And then while delivering, the n number of things he has to incorporate. So problem is related with what? We get n number of faculties. N number of faculties are available, particularly in Pune. Suppose if I want two faculties, then we will interview more than 25-50 faculties. But at the same time, these faculties may not have that much crunch as far as our expectations are concerned. So to bridge the gap between the theory and practice, that is also required. So the basic problem is related with, it is not only knowledge, it is not only eligibility, how they are going to perform in the class. And their testing matters more. Then whenever we talk about the getting a good faculty, as mentioned by Dr. Kashyap, very specifically, branding matters. Where your university stands, what is the perception of the students, parents, as well as the industries. I see any university, whenever they have established a certain rapport, it means they took a lot of deliberate, sustained efforts to reach at that particular stage. And certainly the contributions made by the different stakeholders, one has to appreciate. But at the same time, recruitment has to be continued. And for me, it is not only salary, it is the culture, and it is the mindset of that. How long he will continue with the university. See, now, while recruiting, if I ask that suppose if we give whatever you require, are you sure that you will be with us at least for 5 years? Immediately he will say, yes, I may be. I may be means he don't want to stable at a particular place, particular university. If he get some better opportunity, then certainly he will have some different thought. So recruitment is a continuous process nowadays. That is, retention is a problem, but for
Yeah,
getting
sir. Thank you very much. Shirude ji, you have highlighted many important points, especially the selection process that should be transparent. And you have said that eligibility is not enough. You have to attract the talented individuals, and the talented individual should, update his knowledge and skill. And also, you talk about how the teacher should get himself acclimatized with the educational ecosystem of the university. Then only he will be a committed soldier, and the performance definitely counts. So now, this is what we have been discussing, all relating to faculty recruitment. But at the same time, professional advancement is very, very important. However, recruitment is just one part of the equation. Professional advancement and faculty retention are equally significant. Faculty members are pillar of an institution and need opportunities to grow, innovate, as pillars of the institution, and need opportunity, lack career stagnation, lack of recognition, and limited support can lead to dissatisfaction, promoting talents to seek opportunities elsewhere. So this is regarding professional advancement. Now let us discuss on that, and I would like to ask Professor Sandhir Sharma ji a question relating to upskilling faculty and updating, knowledge. What approaches can university take to ensure that faculty members stay upskilled and updated with the latest development in the field of their knowledge or specialization? Over to you.
Right, sir.
Sharma.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for asking such a critical question. And I think things have changed dramatically in teaching learning space. I mean, the years, the centuries before, when we completed our PhD, for example, the way PhD is done today, the way we were trained in the classrooms and the way we train the students today in the classrooms, things have changed upside down. What that thing which has brought change is the digitalization. I mean, that access to information, especially with the advent of Gen AI or Chat GPTs of the world. Now the learners have different options to learn and easy and quick information access. They are more empowered. So a faculty even goes to a class. When Shirude sir was talking, he mentioned theory plus practice. He rightly mentioned both things together. So what's happening here, upskilling becomes very, very important because a faculty is not from industry largely. So theory and practice, both things are going together in the classroom. We want students to join industry. Whatever is happening in the industry, faculty might not be knowing. Or many of our faculty members have never been to industry before joining the university as a faculty. So they don't know practically what is happening in the industry except reading few articles or few things. But they don't have hands-on experience in what's happening in industry. This is the one reason why upskilling is very much important here. Second important thing is, this is just an example, when I spoke to my own PhD guide years before in Varanasi, he told me that, Sandhir, the next century will be a different century. I said, sir, what will happen? He said the learners will be faster than the teachers. So teachers will be in more trouble than the learners, because the learners will have a lot of technology to access, a lot of information to access, even without having a teacher in the classroom. So it becomes our responsibility that our teachers are empowered in a way that they remain step ahead or better than the learners in the classroom. This is one important thing. That's why upskilling is required. Third thing, as I already mentioned, that many of them, they don't have industry experience, so they can't tell them what is happening in the real. And interestingly, in our education system, pardon me if I'm a little blunt here. So anything which is happening latest in industry is coming to education. Education is not taking something new to the industry. So there is no company which says that we have learned something new from you and we are going to implement it. That means the faculty and students who are involved in teaching and learning, they're not producing something new which is helpful for the industry. Probably that is the one requirement. We want industry people to come to the classroom and train our students and train the trainer program for the faculty. So we lag massively behind in this aspect. So the faculty has to be upskilled. Another problem with a faculty mindset is, if I'm done PhD, I'm done with everything. Learning, learn, unlearn, and relearn is something which we have to bring in their day-to-day habit. This is again another challenge. So that's why upskilling is important. So what we can do, I'll take two examples which will be helpful for everybody, those who are listening as a participant. So in Chitkara University, what we have done, we have come up with a faculty startup policy. Now, this is very interesting. We want faculty members to have their own startups. Why it is so? So what we think that as a business management faculty, if I'm not running business, how can I teach business? And without running business, if I'm teaching business, what I'm teaching, and for how can I do good to a student who would like to do a business and trained by me who has never done a business? So we made a faculty startup policy, which is very encouraging for faculty. Now, faculty have their own startups. They got those skills. They are mentored. They are handled. We give them seed money. We give them mentoring. We give them support of financial experts. We help them transferring the technology that they have filed as a patent. We help them commercializing their ideas. This is how they upskill themselves, go back to the class and talk real. This is something which has greatly helped us improving the quality of the faculty in the classroom. This is one example. Another example is we do Global Week, in which we invite international faculty members to our campus so that the students in the campus can have an access to international faculty for a week for one module of 1 credit. Now, this activity is so popular, so popular. All those partner universities are inviting our faculty members to their global weeks in their universities internationally. So what happens when our faculty members, they travel abroad, they are exposed to an environment which is more challenging and more new to them. It helps them upskill themselves. So that's another important thing that we have seen, which has worked a lot in terms of upskilling. We want faculty also to take micro credentials, not only students. So faculty has been given Harvard Business School online, LinkedIn Learning, Coursera access, so that they keep learning. And we also have requested our industry partners to regularly do the trainer programs. For example, our faculty is trained in forensic accounting, anti-money laundering, commercial credit, mortgage, investment banking, risk assurance. Nowadays, we are working on aviation. IITA is training our faculty. So all these things sum together, we are trying to bring faculty at par with the industry practice. And we want the students to actually listen to the faculty when they attend them in the classroom.
Thank you, Professor Sharmaji. I think you have given us a detailed, explanation how that upskilling of faculty and updating of their knowledge is possible. One point I like that faculty exposure, both overseas exposure and industry exposure, because they have to deal both theory and practice, practical, so that's why that exposure is very, very important. And sometimes they should be ready to learn from their student, because students are now more used to Google Baba and AI, machine learning. So that's why, they're fast learner compared to they live in, a digital world, and so they're very well informed. So we shouldn't hesitate to learn from our student. And the other point you touch upon is like the academia industry, interface. That's very, very important, where the teacher would be able to learn. And HRDC is very, very important. Human Resource Development Center of a university. They should, take active part in upskilling and upgrading the knowledge of the faculty. Thank you very much. Now let us move to another important aspect of this professional advancement, that is balancing teaching and research. Sometimes we say that, some teachers say that I am a researcher, and some other teacher would say I am a good teacher. So how to strike out a balance? And my question is to Professor Anil Kashyap ji. What practices can universities adopt to enable faculty to balance their teaching responsibility with research and professional development? Kashyap ji.
Sure, thank you. I am just extending the discussion which Dr. Sharma mentioned about, so many avenues where faculty can actually participate in upskilling themselves. But the bigger question is, where is the time? Where is the time? Where we get time from? So very pertinent follow-up question in terms of balancing teaching, research, and professional development. And it is the role, and that is where this whole thing links back to the branding and the institution where people would like to go. Every teacher has a passion to upgrade themselves, to come into the more main stream of the academics, into their own discipline areas. So what kudos that teacher gets, and how that teacher gets it, it is not only just the classroom teaching, it is the research, and it is other external outreach activities, publications, attending into the public forums. Even if you are a really good researcher, you have to come onto the TV as well, sometimes, that explain what your patent and what your branding is. So that gets us to the ultimate. Or you write in a newspaper where your Times of India publishes your story about your research and your practice. So that requires a lot of time. And every teacher where I meet here, particularly in India, struggles to balance this teaching and research, because sometimes these metrics of 12 hours, 14 hours, assistant professor, associate professor, all these things, they do not help into that. That is one part. But second part is that there are short faculty and we don't have faculty. That was the premise we started. Professor Shirude has started that, we don't have good qualified faculty, and that's why we have lot of places vacant available into our institution. Our faculty ratios are not great in many institutions. There might be few, but the faculty student ratio is something which is which everybody struggles, and it links to the balance sheet as well, because it takes money to pay to good faculty. So it is a vicious circle. So in order to attract good faculty, we need to demonstrate this teaching and research balance. But in order to have space for teaching, we need to lose something from the teaching. For research, we have to lose some space from the teaching aspect. So I think there has to be some metric where one clever institution or clever HODs or vice chancellors, they maintain a spreadsheet that, and they are very careful about a good researcher not loading more than what the person is able to deliver. And I think one need to draw that lesson, and that's where the brand comes. That's where the attractiveness of the faculty or a good faculty comes, because teaching people are passionate about, but if they are not able to get research out of the teaching or the rest of the time, they lose the interest. So it is a circuitous problem. So that is where I would say that. But I think management has to take a call that how much time we need to free up. I had a principle actually built in my own sort of understanding. I had a 1/3 rule. 1/3 time of a faculty in a week is dedicated for teaching time. 1/3 is dedicated for the research, and 1/3 is dedicated for administration purposes. And that keeps the faculty really balanced. So if somebody wants to pick up this 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 rule, I think that is the best way that a teacher teach 1.5 day maximum into the classroom, 1.5 day for research, clear time for research. It's not that only like 1 hour here or there, you add up to 1/3 for research. That doesn't happen. So one need to give a really a chunk of time, and 1/3 for administration, because they need to do a lot of paper marking, assessment. Otherwise you will lose the quality of the assessment and feedback and the teaching material. So that will be the other thing. Particularly for research, I used to give one clear day without timetabling to each faculty, which is 20% of their time in a 5-day week. So 20% of their time is for research dedicated. If somebody is doing a better research, you can take 2 days in a week free. The 2 days you don't do anything, you teach all of your subject, other things, you do it in 3 days, first 3 days or whatever those 3 days, depending upon timetable. But 40% of the time for good researcher is available for research. So some of these fundamentals, I think, will help in balancing.
Yeah, Kashyap, thank you very much for your lucid explanation. I like it very much, that 1/3 rule. And in all institutions of higher learning, teaching and research are complementary and supplementary to each other. They are, two sides of the same coin. But many of the university, what we notice, there is a shortage of faculty. That is why they are overburdened, overworked, overscheduled, and that is why probably they don't get enough time to do original research. And when we look at NEP 2020, it's it talks about research university, then teaching university, and then degree, an autonomous degree granting colleges. So research university, the focus should be more on research. I think we have not implemented that scheme in letter and spirit. Maybe in coming days, in coming years, things will change. But what you explain, I entirely agree. And each teacher potentiality should be examined by the concerned university. And if someone is a good researcher, that researcher should be given more time to do original research so that he will earn name and fame for the university. Okay, now, expect professional advancement. I would like to ask one question to Shirude ji. Recognition and reward. How that is important. How important are recognition and reward system, what we call like incentivization, in encouraging faculty members to strive for excellence, and what innovative practices can be implemented in this regard? Shirude ji.
Very macro aspect of this view as far as advancement is concerned. First of all, I agree with Kashyap. What Kashyap sir has mentioned, that is, the time is the major factor. And for that, my suggestion will be institute has to recruit more faculty. Suppose if I need 5 faculties, I should have 7 faculties. Why I am saying 2 more? Because all of them, they are not having the performance, interest, and their contribution. Some of them, they are very good in teaching, in academics. Some of them are very, very good in research. So we have to observe that where their mindset is. And on the basis of that mindset, we have to schedule the work profile and the workload which is given to them. Many times it is cost effective also, because in long time, what happens, if they do more research contribution, then that research will certainly help while delivering the sessions. Because the research is an attitude. Research requires a certain mindset. It is not that only all the academicians can be based in research. So researchers needs a time. Researchers needs some funding also. Researchers needs the incentives in the form of rewards. And not only that, how many students are registered for the doctoral research. See, for guiding the doctoral research candidates, they also require certain time. And they have to also refer these particular topics. They have to search also. Because many times what happens is AI and Chat GPT and so many Google and everything, the shallow information is available. But in-depth information requires a time to spend. Means critical thinking occupies a sincere and deliberate contribution in respect of delivery. And therefore, my suggestion is that here, what we have to do, universities should have their research policy. That is, what type of the incentives have been given if they can contribute in respect of their research articles in Scopus or maybe participating in different conferences. Exposure has to be given. That is, it is not that they should be always in the field, always in the university. If good conferences are scheduled, our faculty should go there, because unless we give them exposure, they will not understand what is going on and where they are. So selecting the type of the conferences, we have to motivate them. Many times, as it has been mentioned, that is the 1/3 time, etc. See, those who are interested, those who want to do, we have to give them freedom. Freedom in what sense? Freedom means if they require a lab, if they require a more library assistant, if they require a certain place even after the office hours, then we have to provide them. Similarly, some type of the assistance they require as far as the simulation part is concerned, and there also the universities has to take care of. So once we respect this, their contribution, then certainly there should not be a separation, though in a new education policy saying teaching universities, research universities, but I always trust teaching and research university, because teaching and research goes hand in hand. See, we can't separate it out. Those who are teaching, after a certain their experience, they will incline to more research. And many times what happens, good academicians, they are much better than the research-based the delivery. See, after all, your stakeholders who are in front of you, you have to satisfy them, and their funda should be clear. That is, the knowledge has to be percolated in such a way that that is the foundation is clear, the industry expectations are incorporated while delivering the sessions, and your curriculum should be such that where industry needs that what they expect. So whenever we talk about research should not be only pure scientific research. What is the utility of research? Means how it is going to be held in respect of capacity building, in respect of contribution, in respect of the society. And therefore, many times we should not keep limitations as far as the research facilities are concerned. We have to reward them, give more incentive. See, performance-based incentives is a one part of it. And excellence, the word which is used, is a very relative word. What is excellent today may not be excellent tomorrow. So it's a continuous journey. And therefore, the excellence can be learned from the more experienced and research-oriented senior people. This is what I am saying. So we have to respect the people.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much, Shirude. It's very, you have given us very critical inputs. What you said towards the end, performance-based appraisal is very, very important for this recognition and rewards. And rightly said by you, the leadership, leadership people like Vice Chancellor and senior faculty member, the core team should examine the mindset of the teachers, and accordingly workload should be distributed so that it will be cost effective, and some seed money should be given to the new entrant, newly recruited teachers for their research, and so that they develop critical thinking. And that is how the research quality will go up, and incentivization in terms of quality publication. Those who are published in Scopus journals should be given more incentive, and exposure, rightly said by you, is very, very important. And that is how the university should recognize its faculty and go for the incentivization process. And we have already touched upon two important aspects of today's webinar: faculty recruitment and professional development. Now let us move to the third aspect, that is faculty retention. In fact, retention in particular is a matter that cannot be overlooked. In today's academic environment, institutions are not just competing for students, but also for top faculty talents. And retaining high caliber faculty members requires creating environment where they feel valued, supported, and empowered to achieve their goals. So this is very, very important. And against the backdrop, let us now discuss about faculty retention and how the newly inducted faculty member or recruited faculty member will build loyalty to the institution. So I would like to ask this question to Sandhir Sharma-ji, Professor Sandhir Sharma-ji. What are some effective ways to foster a sense of belongingness and loyalty among faculty members in private university? Sharma-ji.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks for another question, and good question, I'll say. Kashyap sir and Shirude sir, they just covered a lot of part of faculty retention, especially when both worthy panelists spoke on workload management. I mean, Kashyap sir said 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. And Shirude sir rightly said that teaching and research are complementary and should go hand in hand, and research should come back to the classroom, and every teacher should do some kind of a research. So I think these are the things which are directly related to retention. Another thing which very commonly come up when we talk about retention, maybe in a higher institution or for that matter in any organization, one component is a competitive package. I mean, the salary is the one thing to component is which is there for retaining the talent. Another common thing is the reward and recognition, which again my worthy senior panelist just spoke about. What 2 points coming to my mind, and those points I think are very, very critical nowadays to maintain the faculty, to manage the faculty retention in the institutions. Is the first thing is I've noted down is burnout. It's not only the students who feel burdened by the syllabus or the curriculum or pressure of performance. That pressure of performance goes to the faculty's mind also. So I think as an institution, it becomes important and incredibly important for all of us as an institution to take care of burnout of a faculty. So it's easy to say, write one paper or 3 papers a year. It's easy to say, but when you start writing a good quality paper, it drains your energy. It's easy to say to take 45 minutes, 1.5 hours session in the classroom. But I'm telling you that talented faculty, when goes to a class for 1 hour lecture, they spend hours to deliver a quality session for an hour. What does it mean? It means their energies, they spend a lot of time, their emotions in preparing the curriculum, or while doing a research, they spend a lot of time. In fact, in the teaching, when they go to class, they face students directly. I mean, they get all the good and bad feedback on their faces. This is a very critical thing. So that adds to their burnout. I mean, they have to be really, really good when they go to the classroom. Similarly, when they write a paper, they get so many critical comments when they submit those papers to high index journals in Scopus or Web of Science, and best of the names nowadays popular in the world. So sometimes you get 40 comments or 30 comments for a research paper that you have attempted first time in your life. A new faculty, when writes a research paper, submit to a journal, sometimes get very ruthless comment from an editor, and that adds to his or her burnout. A new faculty, when goes to a classroom, sometimes not happy with him or her after taking a class because he or she doesn't feel satisfied that he has not delivered value in the class. And probably the students have an access to Chat GPT, Gen AI, Google Baba, as Deepak sir said in the beginning. So what happens that the students challenge the faculty a lot, and that adds to their burnout. I think something is needed to be done from a mental health support side. As an institution, we should give them that kind of an environment where they are supported to face such kind of challenges. Such kind of challenges will continue to come, and the challenges will increase. This is also fact. I think we need not to worry about the challenges. The only thing is we need to look at the way out. The first way out is to give them mental health support, and that mental health support can be given to them as a through counselors also. Even the faculty members can have a counselor, not only the students. So this is something which is very important. We have a chief happiness officer in our university, and interestingly, I'm sorry. So we have a chief happiness officer. We have a center of happiness on campus, and that the center's agenda is to actually give a mental health support to all our students and faculty members associated with different activities. So this is the one thing which I think that will add to the faculty retention. Another important thing is onboarding of a new faculty. I mean, that onboarding is very important. So what happens? There is a stress on both sides, from an institution side and from a faculty side, when there is a cultural misfit. So my institution has a cultural system. I mean, I have a culture in which I operate. As I said in the very beginning, I have an academic culture, I have a research culture, I have a community culture. So I call my university as a community. So when somebody, a new faculty or a member joins a university or an institution, that onboarding is a very critical thing. So that comes to the HR or a registrar office. When we are onboarding, when we are inducting new faculty, we should give them a right kind of a onboarding experience so that they best fit into the culture. As we all of us are teachers, we know that when we go to the class, we set the classroom rules first. That look, next 20 days you are going to face me and I'm going to face you. These are the 10 rules you will follow. These are the 10 rules I will follow. What is that? That is a fitment. That I set up an environment which is fitting to both parties. So whenever a new faculty joins an institution, their onboarding experience should be wonderful. I think we should work more and make a good framework where the onboarding of that faculty is taken care, so that that cultural fitment is there. I think these two things, other than good salary and award recognition, will help retaining the faculty for longer time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sharmaji, for your brilliant answer, and rightly said by you that salary, that package is important. In fact, that is a question I have framed for our other panelists. And reward and recognition are very, very important, and the faculty should not be felt like burnout. And you talk about very interesting thing like teachers' well-being, mental health support for the teacher. We have in our university a center like wellness center where students are, students normally they visit that center, but you are talking about a very interesting concept like mental health support for teachers. So this is very innovative one, and feedbacks are very, very important. And the environment building is very, very important. How at the entry level, the teacher should feel, should not feel fish out of water, and it should give him a cushioning effect. And then, in Teachers for Teacher NEP 2020, there is a concept like Diksharam. You might have heard about this term, Diksharam. Like, I think for teachers, something like Diksharam should be introduced, although there is a Guru Dakshata program, but, the teacher should be oriented to the whole educational ecosystem of the university. That is very, very important. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to ask Anil Kashyap ji, what has already been said by Sharma ji, like the competitive package, and what role do competitive compensation and benefits play in faculty retention? How can institutions remain competitive in this regard? Kashyap.
Sir, yes, I think this is very interesting panel, and I am really happy to to hear Dr. Sharma talking about Chief Wellness Officer. Sir, I need to come and sometimes see how everything works over with you in Chitkara University.
Welcome, sir. All of you are welcome, sir. Most welcome.
Yeah.
But I must commend the moderator as well in framing questions in such a way that they follow so nicely from each other, that's really brilliant. And with that, let me pick up slightly, going backward, not coming directly to competitive package. I will start with reward and recognition, which we earlier started. The reward and recognition, and these are not something which we can monetize. The reward and recognition is something which is more than the monetized aspect of any teacher or faculty in the university, which also involves the wellness, which I will really acknowledge upfront, that how we can really look at the well-being of the particular faculty, the value which we actually give to them, how we appreciate, how we acknowledge the contribution to the collegiality of the institution, because sometimes management is really short of recognizing them. Even the few words of appreciation means quite a lot to a young faculty by the leader of the university, that look, you have done really well, fantastic, keep it up. These are they doesn't cost much, but it is so important for faculty to keep themselves really motivated. Empowerment is something very important, but particularly in private university, we tend to keep everything with the central leadership, that everything gets signed by some either CFO or something like that. Even a monetary empowerment, or even the flexibility in sometime attending few things. Like if I'm interested in attending a really good conference or even a webinar, whether I am empowered to sign up for that with a certain degree of flexibility exercised around that. Obviously, we should not misuse those kind of opportunities or empowerment. So that is also an important aspect of recognition. And then comes the monetary, because I particularly put monetary compensation at the last. If we do not have these enablers which we are talking about in terms of work-life balance, in terms of teaching research balance, in terms of wellness, there are good faculty who opt for these, or more people are coming. Let me rephrase that. More or more individuals are now paying more attention to some of these other aspects of compensation rather than the monetary. There are faculty who can take a cut in the salary and go into a better environment rather than in a vicious environment, having little bit more salary in their package. So that is my take in terms of the retention of the faculty. It has to be the overall environment, the empowerment, the value, the support, the well-being, which is offered to a faculty, that helps in retention. Obviously, good compensation means, I'm not saying that money will buy out anything. There will be good professors. Professors are really with having like high self-esteem, who are really performing. So money may not attract them, that but the money plus other factors will definitely retain the good faculty. That is my take.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kashyapji. I think I liked your answer. Other aspects of incentivization, that is very, very interesting term. And you talked about enablers, so when the newly recruited faculty find a very congenial environment, support system, which will take care of its mental well-being, then there is a high possibility of retention. But when even with a high package, when the environment is not conducive, and when the teacher would start feeling the burden and will feel burnout, then probably it is not a good option for retention. So It's a very, very brilliant and now, because there is a shortage of time, let me move to another important aspect of faculty retention, which has already been hinted by Sharmaji, that is cultural fit. So my question is to this time would be to Professor Shirude ji. How can university ensure that newly recruited faculty align with their institutional values and culture? They should have a kind of understanding about the institutional values and culture. And how is this important for retention? Let me repeat the question. How can universities ensure that newly recruited faculty align with their institutional values and culture? And how is this important for retention? Over to you, Shirude ji.
Very specific question which you have asked. See, to me, retention is not a challenge. It is not a challenge. Retention is an opportunity. We have to assess ourselves where we are wrong or where we want to bridge the gap. What is what is required? Because it varies from individual to individual, from one faculty to another faculty, coming from different regions, different states, different culture, different backgrounds also. See, what has to be done whenever we induct, whenever we recruit any new faculty. First of all, we have to give them, like students, some induction is essential. To have a discussion with them, what type of the culture of this university is. Then at least for first week, we should not give them any workload. Let them visit all the places in the university. Let he explore and let he understand by his observations and keep the flat culture in the university. Flat culture means open access to all. He can go, he can meet not only to his head, not only to his seniors, but he can also have a dialogue with the other people also. He can sit in the library, labs. And the most important part, once we recruit them, then where the retention comes. See, holistic approach is essential because we all are human beings. We have to take care of each other, whosoever may be. Means whether he is assistant, associate, professor, or maybe from industries, whosoever may be. But we should have a very human approach with newly recruited faculty. He should not feel that I am a newly recruited and so many people are there. So what will happen? Therefore, institutional values and culture, first we have to explain with them. Induction, at least for 2-3 days, at 2-3 hours, some senior faculty, somebody from your HR should sit with him, have a dialogue, have a cup of tea, even have a lunch with them, and see that how they are going to be familiar with us. This is my approach towards this. Then, different type of the policies which the university is having. That has to be made very clear. But we should not be rigid. And therefore, I always trust management is a situational science. Sometimes we have to break our rules also and make some exceptional cases. That confidence we have to give to the faculty. Retention is not a challenge. It is the approach of the authorities, how we can mold the faculty to our culture. And once he is accustomed with your culture, then certainly he will be more confident, more capable as far as his delivery is concerned. And it is not only salary, but the perks are also most important. We are talking about the well-being. See, these facilities has to be provided in the university campus without charging anything. And what type of the facilities has to be given? It is the physical and emotional well-being. Emotional well-being, that is also most important part. Give them all the opportunities to spend some time, maybe with the gymnasium, maybe with your swimming pool facilities, maybe yoga, sports, recreation and wellness center. So where we can see that it is not only the library, it is not only that we should make some hard things to him. he should feel that this is the culture which a particular university is having, and then make him more comfortable as far as the aggregate environment is concerned. So retention will not be an issue, and provide some facilities to him in the initial stages whenever he is searching for his accommodation, maybe some other issues, maybe in respect of shifting family from one region to another region. Then all this type of the support has to be provided to him so that he will feel more comfortable. So talent retention is not an issue for me.
Thanks, Shirude ji, for nicely, explain this cultural fit, which is very, very important for faculty retention. I liked your, statement. Retention is opportunity. Although it's a challenge has to be converted into opportunity. And when there is poor retention, that needs to be analyzed. Why poor retention? And while, at that time also diversity and inclusivity should be taken into account. So first week, no workload, orientation for the teacher so that he gets acquainted, he or she gets acquainted with the vision, mission, values, and the culture of the university, and the approach should be human. What I said, like out of way support. Someone is not getting accommodation or someone is finding some problem, you support him. So the teacher should feel comfortable in an aggregated environment, what we call the ecosystem, educational ecosystem. And now, because, there is a time constraint, we should discuss also about the broader perspective. But now let me change the plan, So now each panelist, all our learned panelists will given just 1 minute time to talk about this broader perspective on the discussed aspect of the today's webinar, what is titled as faculty recruitment, professional advancement, and retention. We have already touched upon the three aspects, and what would be the broader perspective? I request Sandhir Sharma ji to talk about just 1 minute global best practice, very short answer, rapid fire round. This is like a rapid fire round. So,
perfect, sir. Perfect. Point taken.
Minutes, you should be very precise so that we leave some time for discussion. Yeah.
Perfect, sir. So, broader perspective, I personally think that faculty in the country, in all institutions now, faculty should be exposed to industry exposure largely for managing all the things that we have discussed. Faculty should be given cross-border exposure. These two different exposures will definitely make them stay in any institution for longer time, and institutions will also get a lot of benefit. And second point, let's not assess their performance only. Please take their feedbacks. Let's take their feedback and let's call for their participation in every decision making in an institution. I think that will also empower their mindset and it will encourage them to be a part of the institution. Teaching is a serious business. We should not take it lightly. As a faculty, I think we are not less than a surgeon. Either we'll save their lives, those who are there in the classroom, or will kill them if we are not actually serious about our profession. So faculty is something which is very, very critical to the society.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, let me ask this same question on a broader perspective to Anil Kashyap ji, and I request him to touch upon partnership and collaboration, how important that is in the context of broader perspective.
Sir, partnership and collaboration, all they become part of this whole complete life cycle of a faculty in a campus, actually, and it opens up doors for more and more avenues for participation into research or teaching best practices or partnerships in enterprise activities. So I think it is a critical what I call it as a vertical. Alongside academic, alongside research, alongside enterprise, partnership and collaboration is quite an important aspect and a vertical in an educational institution, and it brings lot of other positives as well. It brings teachers' contribution and involvement into some of these partnerships where best practices, good value items can be picked up. But at the same time, if partnerships can be turned into a business opportunity as well, that you can have some things which can result into more numbers. As far as institution is concerned, so we can look at from that angle as well.
Thank you very much, Kashyap ji. Now, Shirude ji, this is about a Western model like the tenure track. What is your views on the tenure track academic position in overseas university? So, is it a good mechanism to be adopted by Indian university to maintain excellence and high teaching standard? Shirude ji.
Hypothetically, it is okay. But Indian culture is different. Indian ethos is different, and therefore something which we can adopt, which is environmentally suitable. Whenever I talk about the environment, I consider culture of the students, stakeholders. See, if we talk about the abroad, they are having a different type of the mechanism. But in India, to bring homogeneity from the heterogeneity, if we are having students from pan-India basis, faculties from pan-India basis, then certainly that requires a certain different type of the mechanism. And therefore, my opinion will be in respect of tenure track, your employment structure should be such that which fits to the concerned skilled faculty, particularly those who are differentiating with compared to the others. And therefore, some more care has to be taken. See, giving foreign visits, having foreign collaborations, then exchange of students, exchange of faculty, that is okay. Goody is always okay. But what is ROI? Return on investment. See, whenever we talk about the time, then return on investment should be measured in terms of money, in terms of time, and in terms of the output also. And therefore, talk about the foreign universities, means the overseas universities. See, it is not just like the parallel systems. Even in Pune, there are, it is an educational hub. Number of universities are there. Every university is having its own structure, own culture, own policies. But after all, it is a long-term survival. See, and who builds, after all, this temple of Saraswati? It is the teachers. It is the students. Student and teacher-centric. That plays a strategic role in respect of building and branding. This is what I personally feel it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Shirude ji, for your wonderful answer. And I think we have still 8-9 minutes time, and I don't see any question in the chat box. So this discussion, in this webinar has undoubtedly provided us a wonderful platform for dialogue, collaboration, and sharing of innovative ideas. And that can guide the institution, all our institutions, towards sustainable and effective faculty management, kind of cross-learning. We should learn from each other. And now, it is open for discussion. If any participant, I still see there are 71 participants. So anyone who would like to ask a question, and he should mention specifically, there are 3 panelists. So if you have a question for one of the panelists, please raise your hands and over to you, Karthik ji, to conduct this question answer session. And
I think participant named Ms. Sunita has raised her hand. So please go ahead. So you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Yeah.
Good evening to everybody. I'm very thankful to have this opportunity to join this particular event or the thing. My question is, whatever till now discussed, it's truly from the faculty perspective, it is absolutely worth it I mean, the point what all of the sirs said, discussed, but then practically, will that work in terms of, the retention part, what was spoken, and, giving the opportunity, the 1/3 time, will it be practically possible?
I can start that.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Kashyap, please.
Yes. Thank you, Sunita ji, for raising this bit of an apprehension about this. Yes, from a willing management and a keen and a enthusiastic faculty point of view, it is perfectly workable. I have my own experience of working with some of these faculty support initiatives, and whatever has been said, it has all been practically possible, and I have myself gone through the same kind of experiences and applications. But whether it is practically feasible for management to apply or not, that is the question here. I'm not sure whether you are taking side of the management here or the side of the faculty. If you are taking side of the faculty, it is perfectly okay, it is acceptable, it works. But I don't think it works for management side, because they don't care about this 1/3 rule in some of the I'm not saying all of the institution, but in majority of the institution, I know nobody cares about all these things. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the participants? Maybe we can take one or two more. You can raise your hand and you can unmute yourself. I think one person has raised his hand. Participant in the name of President.
My question is for Professor Kashyap. A lot of new universities coming, and it's a challenge to appoint a quality faculty and research-oriented faculty. Retention part you discussed very well, and now university is increasing their intake also every year. So how to maintain the job prospects and other placement parts? So it's a challenge for the university to maintain placement also. So what step we have to take to maintain, balance all these things? And research and teaching, both are related to each other, that you discussed very well. It's very important for a teacher to go for research also, for better teaching. Thank you, sir.
Sir, just I'll pick up the first part of that. Recruiting good faculty is really a challenge. And particularly it is a challenge in specialist area like my own university, which is mostly postgrad, and it is got construction management and infrastructure, which is very, very specific. Undergrad, you can still work with some generic faculty who can teach generic subject, but as far as postgrad is concerned, it is a challenge. But it is a challenge for undergrad as well. You have to nurture the faculty. Faculty comes enthusiastic. You have to actually make that faculty stay there for long, show the prospect, show the career path, show the value addition to that faculty, and then only that faculty might take up a PhD or some research and then become a good teacher. So I think it is a long drawn process. We don't have any institution actually which produce faculty, and universities are particularly very, very, very unfortunate in that sense. That universities are unfortunate in that sense, because you have a teachers training for nursery kids. You have a which is called NTT, nursery teacher training. You have a teachers training for middle school, which is junior basic training, JBTs and like that. You have got a B.Ed qualification for somebody who is doing 10th, 11th and those kind of stuff. But there is no qualification for teaching into a university. So means that is a space where something is missing. I guess some initiative at country level need to be taken. We are getting proactive. We are facing the heat of the good quality faculty, particularly in United Kingdom. There is a independent body which works with the universities called Advanced HE, Higher Advanced Academy, HEA, and they give a 3-month or 6-month teachers training for fellowship, and you can add those credentials behind yourself. I am a fellow of Higher Education Academy myself, and gone through a really rigorous training of how to teach, how to assess, how to design a curriculum. All these relevant, how to supervise a PhD research. All these things are taught and experimented and in a more rightful manner. I think this is a real gap. One need to really fill that at country level. Otherwise, we will continue to have same debate, for years and years.
Sir, one point also I want to discuss. What about your advice about extended program degree and this advanced degree? UGC is now decided to give 3 years and 4 years. So what is your comment about this decision of UGC?
I think these are good decisions. These are very good decisions. I think UGC is providing a lot of these opportunities which were there globally, but not existing in Indian conditions. All these things existing abroad. So, but UGC is actually bringing lots of good practices. We should really look positively on.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think we are in time, and
we conclude, sir. Maybe
there is no question also. Karthik ji.
Yeah.
So
maybe
I have already given my remarks in between the webinar, and I have nothing more to say, but I'm confident that this webinar, let us seize the opportunity to learn, collaborate, and envision a kind of future where faculty recruitment, advancement, and retention practices are stronger and stronger, fairer, and more innovative in all institutions of higher learning. And it is now my pleasure to thank all the panelists. They answered all the questions brilliantly, and I could educate myself significantly. Sir, thank you very much, Professor Kashyap ji, and we have Sharma ji and Shirude ji. So thank you very much, and especially I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Karthik ji for giving me this platform to chair this very important session, and I feel humbled and honored to do this difficult job, and I think participants must have benefited from this session. And I noticed that there are many senior faculty members, educational leaders, thought leaders that are attending this session. They must have learned something, because our resource person, our panelists have given many inputs, and I'm sure the whole session has already been recorded, and this proceeding of the seminar will be well circulated. And with this, once again, I thank everyone and all the participants for their kind presence. And with this, I hand over again.
thank you, Dr. Behera, and